My mom always tells me that I get squared eyes from sitting too much in front of the computer. And in fact, I've been sitting in front of the computer as when I'm a baby, figuring out how this computer works. And I always have been fascinated by technology, especially using technology for the better. Unfortunately, technology is not always used for the better. Because take 3D printers, for example. Some people use them to print guns. Take drones. Some people use them to bomb people. And today I want to tell you a story how I use technology for the better. South Africa is a great place. I love to be here. And these were the first 2 rhinos I've seen here. And the nature is so fantastic here, especially because, for me, because in the Netherlands we just have zoos. And yeah, zoos are not really nature for me. And every time I'm here, it's so special to see these animals, and it's something really special you have here. Unfortunately, there's also a problem with these iconic animals. They walk around with a big price tag on their nose. And this horn has a value of €500,000, which is 7.5 million rand. And that's all because some people in this world believe that this horn can cure cancer, can cure hangovers, or even give potency for good sex. And this causes there to be a very great demand for this horn. And it's not even scientifically proven. The material that is in this horn is the same as in your fingernail. It's keratin. So if you would bite on your fingernails, you would get the same dosage as you would have with rhino powder. And of course, the rhino poaching problem is very difficult. Because of this demand, there's a big increase in the rhino poaching. And first of all, in 2007, only 13 rhinos were killed every year. But this went crazy up due to this demand. And in last year, 1,250 rhinos were killed. And that's 3 rhinos per day. So today, 3 rhinos will die. And this year, already 749 rhinos were killed. And if it goes on like this, and I have reason to believe the record of last year will be broken, so this has to be stopped. But rhino poaching or rhino products is a very difficult problem because you have 3 sub-problems. First of all, you have the selling. And in the selling, you have 2 sides. First of all, the people have to be educated. But this is a very tough job, because imagine this is in their culture for 100 years or more than hundreds of years. And to get it out of their system is very difficult. Like in the past, we believed that the world was flat and we could fall off the earth. And it took us a while to get that out of our system. And on the other side, you have governments. They have to take this problem more seriously, because you can buy rhino products very easily, and the shops that are selling it are just getting very small fines. And they keep on selling it. And then secondly, you have the trade. This is where criminal organizations are active, and they earn a lot of money here. So they go to the nature reserves or the communities around the nature reserves, and they recruit poachers so that they poach for them. And they give them a year's salary, an incentive. And after the rhino is poached, they make sure this horn gets out of the country. And then thirdly, you have the poachers, and these are the people living around the nature reserves looking for a better life because they are very, very poor. And these 3 sub-problems are very difficult to address all. So, and also protecting the rhino is a very difficult job, because Kruger National Park is 20,000 square kilometers, for example. And Kruger has about 650 rangers. So if you do the maths right, you get to a number of 31 square kilometers per ranger. That's 3,100 football fields. And this is not flat fields. These are mountains. These are difficult terrain to get through. So it's an enormous area. And it's just insane what a ranger has to do to protect this rhino. We help the ranger. We are students, former students of Dutch universities that have a passion for technology, but also love the wildlife in South Africa. And we help the ranger with our technology. So let me get into how we help the ranger. So we do three things. We combine sensors, we observe the nature reserve with ground sensors, but also aerial sensors and even sensors in space. And we gather a lot of data from these sensors. And then we have developed smart algorithms that can find interesting information in this data. So for example, the location of a rhino, or the location of a tree, or the location of a car. And then we give this information back to the ranger so that he can act on threats, or he can plan his patrols. So let's get in depth. So we gather images from satellites, from drones, from helicopters, from ground sensors. And these sensors produce thousands of images every day. And you don't want to look at all these images yourself. So that's why we have created algorithms, on the one hand, to create maps from these images, and on the second hand, we find in these images where the interesting objects are. So first of all, we create maps. So we create photographic maps, first of all. And these are detailed maps that show very clearly, in very detail, how the reserve looks from above. And we basically create this by stitching all the pictures together, and you get a very nice, detailed map. Secondly, we create a digital elevation model. And a digital elevation model shows you the height differences in the area. And we do that by combining the images with the GPS coordinates. And from that, we can extract the height and create a more nice digital elevation model. And lastly, we create a 3D model. And we do that by combining the photographic model map and the digital elevation model. So now we have these maps, and now we want to pinpoint where the animals are or certain threats are. So we do this with a smart algorithm. So this algorithm works as follows. We basically show this algorithm first thousands of images of rhinos, of cars, of humans, and this algorithm learns what a rhino looks like. So it extracts characteristics from these pictures that are specific for this specific object. For example, a rhino is gray and has a certain shape and has a certain size. And by giving this algorithm thousands and thousands of images, it will know what a rhino looks like and what a rhino doesn't look like. And then, when we have trained the algorithm, we will feed it with the sensor data and with the maps. And basically, the algorithm pinpoints where all the animals are, where all the threats are. So, simply said, we collect data from air, space, and ground, and then we analyze this data, we create maps from it, and we pinpoint where these animals and threats are. And we give this information back to the ranger, so that the ranger knows where he has to look and where he doesn't have to look. And you can also plan his patrols much more better. Because where in the past the ranger was just walking in a nature reserve, not knowing where his animals are, or whether he was protecting animals, or whether there were even threats in the neighborhood, he now can actually knows he is protecting his nature reserve effectively. And to showcase our technology, I want to give you an example in our video. In this video, we used a drone to collect all the images. And if you look closely in this footage, you see a rhino passing by. And then, now I show you the three types of map we create. And if you look closely in this very detailed photographic map, you will see a group of impalas passing by, and also you will see a giraffe popping up somewhere. And then this is an example of a digital elevation model. And this is the combined 3D model. So you can fly through your nature reserve in 3D. And lastly, what we do is, these are the results of our automatic object detection algorithm that pinpoints where the animals are. And now I want to give the word to Bradley Schroeder, which is a nature reserve manager, talking about our technology.
Eyes in the sky would be fantastic.
It obviously helps us to cover so much more ground, which you are always going to be limited by when you look at the number of people you can afford to have on the ground trying to protect a place like Verschoor. You know, we're classified as a medium-sized reserve, so we sit at 40,000 hectares. Yeah. You know, it's still big. It's a massive piece of earth. And for humans to be able to cover that is difficult. Technology out of the sky that can film and feed back and give us live streaming that can bring what's happening on the ground immediately to us and allowing us to react at the right times would be priceless. It really would.
And this technology can not only be used for anti-poaching, it can also be used for a nature reserve. This is Dean, and Dean is very interested in knowing where his animals are and knowing how his vegetation is doing. Because in a nature reserve, it's an ecosystem where these things are very interconnected to each other. So if the vegetation is performing badly, the animals will perform badly. So for instance, if the impalas don't have food, they will die. And if the impalas die, the lions will also die because they don't have food as well. So with our system in place, Dean knows he can intervene at the right time. And our technology is not only limited to nature reserves. We can also help farmers because they have the same problems, just different animals, different reserve, or different landscapes. And with our technology, they can locate their animals and intervene at the right time. And it's not just limited to animals or vegetation. We also can help humans. Take the refugees trying to cross the border to Europe at this moment. We can help find these people so that they don't drown in the sea. And we can also help with disaster management. After a big tsunami, we can help rescue forces locate the people where they are stuck in their homes or on the top of the roofs, and we can help the rescue forces pinpoint where they have to be so they don't spend time in the wrong place. And this shows you that if you combine your passion with technology, you can save human lives and make the world a better place. Thank you.